Apple is lobbying against the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act in the United States and Xinjiang, China. According to two congressional staffers intimately familiar with the matter, Apple lobbyists are attempting to soften a bill intended to prevent forced labor in China, highlighting the clash between its business interests and its corporate stance on human rights. The bill, titled the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, would require United States companies to ensure that they do not use forced or imprisoned workers from Xinjiang, where researchers estimate the Chinese government has placed over 1 million people into internment camps. Speaking on the condition of anonymity, the staffers said that Apple was one of the many U.S. companies that opposed the current iteration of the bill. Fearing that providing specificity would identify them to Apple, they declined to disclose details on the exact provisions Apple was trying to, quote, water down. Apple spokesperson Josh Rosenstock said that the company earlier this year, quote, conducted a detailed investigation of our suppliers in China and found no evidence of forced labor, end quote.
You know how sometimes I think, like, have we become better people, or is it just the systems that become better, right? Like this, and stories like this makes me realize that if like slavery was okay today, Apple would legit just have like slaves, right? Like they would just have like the same people are in charge right now, right? If they could get away with just having slaves, they would just legit they wouldn't be having slaves. They would be selling slaves in in the Apple store. Like you would be.
Oh my god!
No, I legit think that the same people that are running these corporations right now, it's very likely that if it was legal today to buy and sell slaves, you would be able to go to the Apple store and be like, ooh, like let me check out look at the skull size, look at, oh, there's the pictures of the teeth. This person has some muscle on them. Okay, I'm gonna enter a bid here. Like that's how these people would just straight up do that.
They would use the health app.
Yeah. They would are we like, is this not evil? Is it fair?
Well, a lot of those companies almost are dealing in slave labor to the extent that some of these, particularly if you're talking about the Uyghur situation, so yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's really sad. And I know that other companies, I'm sorry, Murtaugh Skeptic, slave. Good one. I know other companies are lobbying to have their names removed from the legislation. It specifically apparently calls out like Coca-Cola, Patagonia, people like that. And so I think that there's like this thing that's happening is that they're fine with doing things as long as people don't know about it. Right? And most people are happy not to know as long as they get their slave or whatever cheap, or you know what I mean? And they don't have to worry about it. So I think that that's kind of what you're seeing here a little bit.
What is this bill gonna, like, let's also acknowledge the good side of the story, even though it's like so late and so little. But is this a good, like, what is this bill like? Let's be grateful to this bill.
Details?
Yeah, like, and who's responsible for pushing for this bill?
So, from the Washington Post, quote, the new bill would make it more difficult for U.S. companies to ignore abuses taking place in China and give U.S. authorities more power to enforce the law. One provision in the bill requires public companies to certify to the Securities and Exchange Commission that their products are not made using forced labor from Xinjiang. If companies are found to have used forced labor from the region, they would be prosecuted for securities violations. While the U.S. law already prevents companies from importing goods that were made using forced labor, the law is seldom enforced, and it's difficult to prove U.S. companies know about the use of forced labor. The Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act passed 406 to 3 in the House in September. People involved in the legislation said that the apparel industry was caught off guard by how quickly it passed without much lobbying. And so now that it's in front of the Senate, lobbying is coming a lot faster. And they're laughing at Murtad's comment.
Right. We got a $5 super chat from ALD Jaziri1. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. With no comment, but thank you so much for the support.
Yeah, thank you.
I do want to also say that, yes, I recognize that the United States is not consistent when it's human rights record and blah, 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 and this is more political. This is more of an anti-China position rather than a pro-human rights position, that if it wanted to be consistent with these same standards, then why are they not doing the same thing to Saudi Arabia?
Take it.
Yes, I was like, yes, I know, but we have...
Give them what they want. I will take it.
Given that we don't have champions for human rights on the planet as much as we need, with all the biases and all the hypocrisy and all the inconsistency and all the actual intentions behind this bill, we take it. We take it because we're desperate, because violations of human rights need to be addressed. We could call out the hypocrisy. We will call out the hypocrisy, and we will address the fact that the intentions behind these bills is mostly anti-China rather than the pro-human rights. But we still celebrate a bill like this because we get them so few and far in between, and we have to take what we can get.
Yes. So Representative Jim McGovern and Senator Marco Rubio. This bill sponsored by them. Thank you.
Right. Yes, thank you to those people.
Thanks, little Marco.
Okay. So the top comment says trillion-dollar company.
Oh,
no, go on. You go ahead.
I wanted to say that Apple, they claim that, they're not, using so much and they don't know about it because they actually released this 2020, like what they call like supplier responsibility report. And according to them, this was released in the spring. According to them, they say that 82% of their suppliers are what they call high performers. Now, what exactly does that mean? Or what their definition of a high performer is versus what the bill or what other people would consider. And that the low performers, according to them, are, a record low of 1% to 2%. And also, it's kind of unclear what exactly they want from this. The company that they hired is called Fierce, this lobbying company. It's kind of unclear exactly what they want Congress to hear or to do or to change at this point. At least yet it hasn't come out. Like I tried to look some of this up and everybody was just sort of quoting everybody else. So every once in a while you would get this little nugget of maybe a little bit different information, but not much more. You can look up the supplier's responsibilities report, or you can look up who Fierce government relations are and who their other clients are. But it's not really clear exactly what they want, what Apple wants with this, or how, or what they want Congress to do, or, So that's all. I just wanted to bring that up.
All right, so highlighting some comments. Rod is saying if Apple had to pay a fair wage, a fair wage for their, I think there's a 4 missing here, for their product. No, there's a comma missing. Their products would be unaffordable to the vast majority of its user base. Tim is saying buy Apple and you are a part of the problem. Let your conscience guide you. And then we have two comments up here. I don't know what that is. Somebody with a weird name.
Eve.
Oh, Eve like Wally. Okay, Eve's. No, that's E. No, that's EVE. Never mind.
No,
That's
Eve like Yves Saint Laurent.
Okay. All right. Eve is saying $1 trillion company advocating for slave labor. Should we be outraged and surprised that they choose profit over people? This is the way it has always been. No, it hasn't. You goddamn moron. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, companies and for-profit corporations, they're designed to focus on profit, but it's a responsibility of us, the rest of society, to introduce limitations and laws and standards so that while they're focusing on only making profit and nothing but profit, that they stay within an ethical line, like, within some guidelines, okay? So, yeah, it hasn't been always like that, and the reason why the world has become a better place than it used to be, and it continues to progress, is because people are not giving into this philosophy of things always being bad and never getting better. Things do get better if we try. So do not be like Eves. Be better than Eves. John is saying, well, of course they are. It would cut into their profit margin. Again, these people don't understand the rule. It's like, it's kind of like taking a scissor, right? And then chopping someone's ears off and be like, why are you upset? Scissors are supposed to cut things. Scissors are for cutting. Why are you upset about a scissor doing what it's supposed to do? I'm like, yes, scissors are for cutting, but we could direct that energy towards cutting something that is helpful, okay? So yeah, companies are like scissors. They just make profit. Like scissors cut, companies make profit, okay? We could, as people outside of the corporations, as people who will take the government and our politicians to come up with rules and regulations, we could make these companies to just focus on profit while directing them, these for-profit machines, to make profit in the direction that helps other people and doesn't hurt everybody else, okay? So we're not naive enough to think that corporations are all of a sudden going to be like, hey, profit, who cares? Human rights are more important. No, a corporation is designed to make profit and nothing but profit, okay? But you could make sure that it's directed and is in a way that it's not going to hurt us. Just like a scissor, it's only meant to cut and meant to do nothing else, but you could cut someone's ears off with it, or you could take paper and make some art with it, okay? So there you go. Armin is missing the sarcasm. What sarcasm? Which sarcasm did I miss? No, you're imagining sarcasm. There are literally thousands of people that think that, yeah, of course corporations make profit. What did you guys expect? That's a common opinion. And I think they're missing the point. What sarcasm did I miss?
Let's do the next news.
Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell thingy. If you haven't, I don't know why. What's holding you back? Okay? If you haven't subscribed to our channel, why haven't you subscribed to our channel? Explain that to us, please. Like, bell, and also if you're not getting notifications and stuff because YouTube is not telling people that we have shows, because YouTube is like, oh, this person told us that they want to get your shows, right? They want to get your videos, but nah, we think is no. And they also hit the bell button, but nah, you guys are too controversial. We want to show them mainstream stuff. We want to show them CNN or cat videos or whatever. But people are like, no, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we don't think you want this. They're like, no, please show it to us. We say to you, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we think we know what's better for you than you yourself. So to solve that, there's a link in the description, which is to our newsletter. So hopefully we could email it to you. So hopefully you get some of our content that way. Okay. So yeah, subscribe to our newsletter as well, and share our videos, because we do get demonetized. That's an obvious on every one of our videos. So F that. but we don't care about that anymore. But we also get deprioritized, and that's even more damaging to us. Deprioritized, what does that mean? That means we don't show up on the suggested, videos on the right and all that, on people's homepages, and that's how channels grow. Unfortunately, we can't grow, so we need you guys to share our videos.